Hello everyone, how are you? And I hope it is a very good evening, and we thank God for the gift of life and for the protection that He has given us. Now, once again, this is Crossroads Wellness Center Uganda, and I am Derek. We continue our sharing and our attempt to combat the effect of alcohol and drugs used in society. Don't you forget that for us, our major focus and emphasis is on drugs and alcohol as the leading causes of mental health, but in use in society, in intersection with HIV. Now, as Crossroads Wellness Center Uganda, a community-based organization, we focus in mental health related challenges. We also have a major emphasis. And among the particular groups of people we are looking at, young people, that is the youth, then women, then girls and children, and generally everyone, because mental health challenges do not segregate, they do not discriminate, and they can attack anyone. So every one of us is a candidate of mental health related challenges. And as we can see and we all know, today Uganda is actually having what I may call a looming mental health darkness. So if we do nothing about it, we are going to plunge into some darkness later at some point. So as Crossroads Wellness Center Uganda, we've come up with several programs on trying to see how we can combat the related challenges. Maybe some of you could have seen us posting about these programs and what are they all about. So tonight I'll take you through one of our programs we've called Alcoholics Anonymous support group. Now, I want to explain to you what exactly this group is all about and what it means. If you could hear maybe Alcoholics Anonymous support group, what is it all about and what is the perspective and where do we come from? But I want to tell you that as you can hear, it's called Alcoholics Anonymous support group. Now, one of the things you have to now know at the goal is that we're going to be talking about alcohol, but who are the people who are supposed to be there? The people who are stuck into this kind of addiction, the caretakers, and those maybe who feel it could get them to this point. Now, our movies, we don't want anyone to drink, but we may not prevent anyone from drinking, but we want to combat these effects. Now, I want to explain to you what is an addiction basically in alcohol. Now, I'll be using, I'll try to explain to you what is it really and what is it like. Now, for someone to be said that they are addicted, it doesn't just come in one day, it starts with just one drink. All of us who have ever drunk, or if you're drinking now, if you've been drinking, you didn't start drinking 10 bottles of liquor or beer or whatever you call it, or chitoko or baro, whatever you're drinking, you didn't start drinking all that you're drinking today. But you started with one drink, So maybe a friend offers you a free one at a party, or invites you to the bar, or you go with them to the restaurant, or you're the only one at the restaurant not drinking, and you see, you have seen other people, the people they are drinking, and it looks like fun, or maybe it's a family member offered it to you when you are young, or maybe and set you off, to that downward spiral into addiction. Have you ever visited a family relative? You fear them or you respect them, they give you a bottle of wine as a welcome, and you take it and it feels sweet and you want to do it even once again. So whatever the case, somehow, somewhere, just one drink can turn into where you cannot get through a day or a week without needing a drink to soothe you, to cope or to take away the present pain. You get me, or you understand me there? We are looking at the science of addiction. Now, but the good news is, if you recognize the early signs of addiction, it can be easier to recover from it before it becomes a long-term habit that can have damaging side effects on your health and on your relationships. You know, I have been telling people that actually alcohol does not only affect people who are drinking themselves. No, it actually, the caretakers are adversely affected compared to the people who are drinking, because the people who are drinking, sometimes they care less. So the people who are paying the bills for them, rehabilitating them, putting them under recovery programs and all that, taking care of them, going to pick them while they are falling when they are drunk, and hospitalizing them, sleeping in hospitals, all those related challenges and consequences. You can see how it affects people even who are not directly involved into the vice. And sometimes some people have lost their careers have been ruined, their relationships have been ruined, their marriages have been ruined, and they are healthy, they have been affected health-wise. It's not necessary in any of these things that I've just mentioned. It could be another challenge that you went through or that you experienced. So what are the signs? Now we want to ask ourselves, what are the signs? Could you ask yourselves these questions? What are the signs that it is worsening? What are the signs that it is actually getting into an addiction? How would you see this? One of the signs is, are you able to control your alcohol consumption? My dear friend, if you cannot control yourself, then you are addicted. As in, you tell yourself you are only going to drink one and you drink only one. Now, my point is, I don't want you to drink even one, but for the sake of those who are drinking. Now, can you tell yourself to regulate, or can you regulate? Can you minimize? Probably we've seen people who go to the bars and they have told themselves, they've even, they've said, I'm going to take one, I'm going to take two, I'm going to take three, and I'll be home. And eventually they sleep there. So are you able to control your alcohol consumption? If not, my dear, you could be a fit for our Alcoholics Anonymous support group. Now, another question or sign to ask yourself is, do you crave your next drink even if you are not presently drinking? There are some people whose lives are now rotating around alcohol or a drink. And they can't spend a day without or minus drinking. So each time they don't drink, they feel like their lives are stuck. They can't do anything. They can't even face people in the public, or can't do anything, probably like doing whatever they are doing without drinking. I have seen people who say, I can't do this minus taking something. If I don't smoke, I won't do this. If there are people, actually, I've seen a young man who was addicted. Before he would eat anything, he would have to first smoke. If he doesn't smoke, he has no appetite. So you can see that. Then another thing to look out, to watch out for, do you put your need for your next drink over personal responsibilities such as family, friends, or work? There are people, before they do anything like work, they have to drink, just like I've been saying. Or maybe they don't even consider doing the responsibilities they are supposed to be doing as responsible people in their families. And then another thing to watch out, to look out for is, do you feel the need to drink more? Like if you feel like it kind of feels like it's when you need food, and then instead of needing food for you, you need alcohol. My dear, my brother, my sister, whoever you are, if you're watching me, that's an addiction and you need support, you need help. Then another thing is, do you spend a good sum of money on alcohol? I am telling you, whether it is betting or whatever, but for this case we are talking about alcohol. Now, do you spend a good sum of money? But either way, any money you spend on it, it is money. There is no way we can put it, it is money. You're spending money on it, and that money can be put into something that is productive. Now, Another last thing to watch out for is, does drinking affect your behavior? Now, when you drink, how do you behave? How do you conduct yourself? Do you wake up in the morning and you're being told of the comment that you prayed, of the movies that you acted, of how how you are beating everyone, how you abuse everyone, how you do crazy things that under normal circumstances you can't do? Now, if it gets you to this point, my friend, you need to watch out. So if your answer is yes to any of these questions, maybe it's your time to seek support, to seek help. And that's why, as Crossroads Wellness Center Uganda, we are here to chat now. If you want to chat with someone, kindly, you can look up to us, you can ask to speak to us. We will chat with you. We will have these daily chats with you to encourage you, to ensure that we walk with you anonymously until you break off from this circle. So if you can't get anyone you trust from within your friends, probably, that you want to talk about it, that's why we would advise that you could be a fit to join us. So why alcohol now? Why alcohol? So the reason that drives you to drink can be important in recovery. Once you know why you turned alcohol, you can take steps to quit. So we want to ask ourselves, why do people drink? So, but before that, for you, if you're drinking, one of the things you need to ask yourself is, why am I drinking? So once you ask yourself the question, why am I drinking, then you are in the best position to know how to stop. That's why we do not want to become masters in your recovery plan, but we want to help you fashion the way and to handle this, my friend. So why alcohol and why do people drink? So if you want to quit, these are the preliminary stages if you are to quit. Now we have to understand, why do people drink and why did you start drinking anyway? Now the common reasons they may include, but not limited to, the ones I'm going to give you here. Now one of the reasons here we have put for you is, we have trauma. So we have some kind of traumatic events can stay with a person for a very long time and continue to cause sorrows and loss, especially if they do not have any empathetic witnesses. So healing from past trauma in our lives may be what you need to focus on to break away from alcoholism, and with a trained professional, because it might not be easy. I'll give you an example of maybe we all have seen what befell last week on Saturday, what befell our brothers and sisters in Chitezi here, when that dump site collapsed and fell in, that landfill that fell in. So people lost their properties, people lost their loved ones, people lost their wives, people lost their husbands. So like that young man whom you saw on TV who lost his wife and his baby, that young man might resort to drinking and taking drugs in order to heal. But if he doesn't get the professional support, and I'm telling you, now these people need mental health focused sessions more than ever before. The same thing happens to the same thing that happened to the other recent evictions by NEMA, the Rusanja, the whatever, Rubiji, and all those areas. So the people are being affected. Those traumatic experiences can drive them to drinking in order to, kind of try to forget their challenges. Then another issue here will be stress. Now, stress can be caused by different reasons. And how is alcohol anyway related to stress? So alcohol is a depressant and a sedative. And when we say it is a depressant, first of all, it will help you escape for a moment from whatever you're feeling or you're going through. And for a sedative, you aren't your own, you develop something also psychologically, we call it psychosis. That's where you briefly experience a break from the reality. So you've been sedated. You could hear someone, they say people are using probably, and these are the common terms used in rehabilitation centers and recovery homes. Someone has been sedated. If they sedate you, you wake up to find yourself somewhere and you don't know how you got there. Maybe you are violent and they have to sedate you. So this means you can temporarily release feelings of pressure in the brain. You alter your central nervous system. The way how your brain is supposed to function is briefly altered, that you don't think by yourself. So also, if you are a naturally anxious person in general, it can your nerves temporarily, so you can relax in social situations. Maybe you want to talk and you can't talk, the kind of that anxiety. So, but it's only a quick fix, you know. It doesn't give you, maybe you have problems, you have rent, you have debts, you have the struggle in your relationship, in your marriage, and all that. But it's a temporary fix. That's why we call it a quick fix. It's a temporary one. If you are depending on alcohol to get through everyday life and tasks, you may want to see what in your life is causing you the most stress. Now, how can you, and how you can take that stressful trigger away? It might mean separating yourself from a toxic friend or a family member, or finding a new job, or instead of reaching for the bottle when you're stressed, it might be the time to learn new healthy habits that also release pressure feelings in the brain, like exercise, yoga, engaging with a pet, watching a movie, listening to the nice music, etc. All those related things. Now, if maybe you have friends who are becoming toxic, it might be a time to quit, to part ways with those friends of yours. If it's a family member, you can have a break, because you can know, you can't completely separate away from a family member, but you can have a kind of a break from them. Then another issue here would be escape. Maybe you want to be, losing a loved one can be devastating. You know, like grief is a part of life. We all know that. Now that brings us back to the issue of GTS landfill that's sunk in recently. So grief is a part of life, and if you need help accepting the death of someone who close to you, or maybe it's important to talk to a person who will listen and care. Alcohol does not care about you anyway. I want to tell you this openly, but people do. Alcohol can never care about you, but people will care about you. My friend, alcohol, I want to repeat this, alcohol does not care. If you're watching me right now, that's why I'm looking straight into the camera. Uh, 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 Alcohol does not care about you, but people do care about you. You might not get the immediate help from within, but Crossroads Wellness Center Uganda is here for you. On that note, I want to apologize if my writing is not enough, but we are working to improve the quality of our writing. Thank you for understanding that. Now let's continue. So coping. I also do not, I want to apologize again. I don't want to focus much in the camera. The writing is kind of straight and it's causing me some. So that's why I'm looking down, kind of. So to cope with loss, that's also the same with the Chitezi people. And anyway, losing a loved one can be devastating. Then there's also shame. Shame. This emotion is difficult to overcome, and alcohol can lead to deeper feelings of shame. So while inebriated, one can engage in reckless or foolish activities which someone can regret later down the road. So instead of learning how to deal with your feelings of shame, alcohol will only continue them. And people, you find people, you don't know why they are drinking. They drank yesterday and they pee on themselves, they do whatever on themselves, they do all sorts of, and then the next day, because they want to walk away from that kind of shame, it's like, how are they going to see me yet I did this yesterday, and they want to repeat that thing to try to escape from the shame. So definitely, those are some of the reasons that people normally give us. So alcohol, these are the damaging effects that it has. Let's talk briefly about the damaging effects. So there are both short-term and long-term effects of alcohol use, both dangerous for a person's health and safety. Now, let's look at a few of them. The short-term effects include diminished reaction time, slow reflexes, restlessness. You can't rest, blurry vision, you lose that focus and vision, the barriers breathing, these people develop a difficulty in breathing, and then fewer reservations, they no longer associate with people the way they were used to be, and no one wants to associate with such kind of people. This is why it can be fatal for you and others on the road to drive after drinking, by the way. And you've had a number of accidents have been caused by this kind of drinking and whatever. So the long-term effects may include The reason why alcohol use can be detrimental to paying for life or health insurance is that maybe a person is more likely to have brain defects. You've seen these people, neurological diseases, cancer, liver diseases, the kidney dysfunction, then diabetes and heart problems. All of these things are related to drinking. Then alcohol is not worth it. Now, we need to commit to treatment. And sometimes it's quite expensive. I hope you understand that. But one thing I want to tell you, my dear, if you're watching this, is that you are not alone. There is help out there. If you have a severe alcohol addiction, it's best to quit drinking. It's best to quit drinking alcohol with the help of medical professionals or a facility as a substance withdrawal that can have serious side effects. It might not be from medical professionals, it can be from counselors, from psychologists, even the spiritual intervention at this point is needed. And by the way, we have much emphasis for us at Crossroads Wellness Center Uganda. We've blended moral psychologists together with spiritual biblical perspective, and we use faith perspective to tackle the issue of addiction. That is an important point to note in my conversation with you. And when you engage with your doctor or with your counselor or with someone that you trust, you can decide what treatment is best for you. If this program is fit for you, you still can opt for this kind of program. So after you've maybe sometimes you realize that there are people who have completed rehabs. Sometimes they go back to the same habit. It will need the kind of dedication and commitment to be sober. It isn't a one-off. It might happen again. These lapses and relapses will often tend to come in again and again and again. So that's why it is very important for you, even when you've completed, sometimes you realize that people have completed programs or in their recovery homes and then they go back to these things. So that's why it is very important for you to consider joining a support group or seeing a counselor or a therapist continually, which will be helpful in this part of your journey. I think you understand why we are so keen on you consider joining us. So, and lastly, the emphasis will be on our perspective, which brings moral psychology and spiritual perspective. If you'd like your life to change in an instant, now, when we accepted that we cannot overcome on our own, and when we admitted that we lack the self-will, the power on our own to quit, we considered giving our lives to Jesus Christ. I want to tell you that it is only Lord Jesus Christ who has the power to help you break the crutches of the sin of addiction in your life. Now, I won't be apologetic on this statement. When we admitted that we can't quit on our own, we summoned the powers from on high, and it did great wonders. I don't think I would be here if God didn't intervene. So I believe you too can be changed if you accept. One, you have to understand this, that Jesus died for you and for me and for everyone who has ever been or who will be on earth. That's something amazing that we shouldn't take for granted. Yes, excuse me. You see, let me finish like this in a minute. 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 17 says, "For if a man belongs to Christ, he is a new creation. The old life is gone, new life has begun." You see that? And as Crossroads Wellness Center Uganda, our theme verse is taken from the book of Philippians chapter 2 verse 5. "Let this mind which was in Christ also be in you." The book of Philippians chapter 2 verse 5. "Let this mind which was in Christ also be in you." So we want to help you bring out the true identity of the Christ in you And that Christness in you will help you to break the sin, the crutches of addiction. Now, if you think you are the person I'm talking to, get in touch with us. You can go on Facebook, search for Crossroads Wellness Center Uganda, send us a direct message. You can find us on Twitter, use the same name, send us a direct message, or on TikTok, use the same name, send us the message. By the way, you can as well subscribe to our YouTube channel to continue watching these videos anytime we upload them. Alternatively, you can send us a direct message on our WhatsApp, that is 0200914432. If you're outside Uganda, you have to add our country code, which is +256. Then 0200914432. Send a message or text or WhatsApp. Now, in case you don't get a quicker response, but anyway, you'll always get a quicker response. But should you delay 5 minutes without a response, even right now, you can call on that number, you can send a WhatsApp, and someone is ready waiting to chat with you. You still have another alternative option, 0781 819292, 0781 819292. I want to thank you if you've been watching. Thank you for giving me your time, and I look forward to having more time with you. See you next time. Thank you. Bye for now.